Hello guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I think you already saw the last post I did about the big international box, and as you can tell, I got very angry, which I usually do when I talk about some immigrant issues, if you can call like that, but like more harassment or racism or things like that. I get very angry. And I don't think I mentioned here, but I'm doing a yoga and meditation teacher training with a school. It's called Anuttara Ashram. It's a school in British Columbia. I'm doing it online. We do have live practice and things like that, which I'm much enjoying. I didn't think I was going to enjoy teaching somebody because that's not the reason I took the course in the first place, but I'm actually enjoying a lot. And then we do have a lot of topics that we cover. There is like our online platform where we get a lot of talks, yeah, I would say like informative talks, so we can have, some ground basis where you can start your practice. So it's like more knowledge about it. It's a lot of anatomy and physiology and things like that, but also includes because it's also part of the meditation and part of what they believe. It also includes a lot of topics like trauma or things like that. And then I was watching one about that now. Really, I didn't even finish. I decided to do this video before I even gone through with the rest of the class, because I find I wanted to talk about that for a long time. But when you have a hard topic to talk about it, it's, if you don't have a start point, it becomes very difficult, especially if you are traumatized, if you have that in your body, it's harder. So this topic I'm talking today, which was my first experience in Canada as an exchange student. I came when I was 21 years old. I came and I have my birthday a day after arriving in Canada. So I came as a 21 years old, and then I left as a 23 years old. But I actually just spent 1 year, which is like funny, but it seems like a 3 years experience, but it's not, just 1 year. And talking about that time, it's really difficult. I hope I don't cry, but most likely I will cry, because I don't talk about it with anybody else except Marcial. And I usually, with him, I can be I can be as sensitive or as vulnerable as I needed to be. I know he's not judging. I know I'll have his full support. He also came here in Canada as an exchange student the same time around than myself, and he doesn't have that trauma. And then the class I was listening today is exactly that. 2 people or more, like let's say several people, can experience the same situation, and one gets traumatized and then the other doesn't, because it's not the situation, it's the tools you had around you that made you feel empowered to change the situation, or the opposite, or you don't feel like you had any choice, or you don't. So for me, I felt for 1 full year that I didn't have a choice, that I came here and I got stuck here for 1 full year, and bad things happen, and I couldn't leave. And then that's not because of Canada or the people, like partially it's because of the people who was in charge of the committee, like international committee, but mostly it was the program that they come in. It was called Science Without Borders. I think the whole Canada got students in 2012, 13 and 14. So it was like a 3 years big program from the government in Brazil. And the idea of the program was really overall was pretty good. You would come here, everything paid, including your flight and things in like your computer, your cell phone, living expenses, university fees, and everything. Like even you got a stipend every month, and then you could choose if you wanted to live with a host family or if you wanted to live in the university. I started living in the university, and after 4 months, which is like a full term, I switched to a host family, which that helped me a lot. Like being in the university was even harder, but the program itself was that. So you came, studied English for 4 months, and then you did some courses, like university courses, for extra 4 months, and then in the last 4 months you would do like an internship or a co-op or whatever you wanted to call. And when we signed the contract, there was things saying that the university will arrange for you to have an internship in a company. The internship or the co-op will be related to your field. The classes you take will be related to your field. You can use those classes when you go back to Brazil, and as like extra credits for extracurricular activities and things like that. So it was not like a lost year, if you think about it in the university sense, to get your major. So that was part of the thing we signed it. And then the other part we signed it before coming was that we would come, everything paid, we will not spend 1 single cent. We spent some money like getting passport and visa and study permit, but they gave all the support and documentation, so we actually just paid the fee of applying. I mean the government, the Brazilian government. And then and then that was basically it. So you'd come, everything pay 100%, but you would not be allowed to leave for 1 full year. So you kind of, when you are very young, you don't see the issue on those kind of things, but basically they would say, in other words, you can go to Canada, we will pay everything, but you are a prisoner like of Brazil in Canada, so you cannot leave Canada and go back to Brazil. And they didn't actually say anything about other countries, they just specify Brazil itself. You could leave Canada, but you could not go to Brazil. So if something happened during that 1 year, maybe somebody died, or or something happened, like bad happened, or even good, like a marriage or a birth or something like that, you couldn't be present, you couldn't leave, even though if you could pay your own ticket, they still didn't allow in that time to do that. So it's a big opportunity coming with everything paid, especially me and Marcel. We would not have the opportunity of doing something like that by our own. So was a huge thing. Like you don't even think about it, the other things you are signing up, you just think about it, oh my god, it's a lifetime opportunity, I should go, I should take it. So me and Marcel, we did take it, and then we have 2 different perceptions after that. So I arrived in Canada, I was not able to speak English. I don't know if you consider my English good or not, I really don't care. I do consider my English pretty good. When I came here, I was able to say, hi, my name is, and then say like my Portuguese version of my name, which is Natiele. Nobody would understand. They would ask me again, I would not know what they are asking me. And then I would say like I want something, and then something I mean like I want, and then point what I want. And then if somebody, like a hamburger or whatever, that you can add things on or take things off, I was not able to express myself. So if somebody would ask me if I want mayo or lettuce or things like that, I was not able to understand, because I didn't speak English. Like I came with barely, like the minimum that I could come. Like I did an English test that is like IELTS. That was the English I did. So IELTS, I think it goes until 9 or 9.5. I don't know anybody who ever got a 10, so I don't think it's a 10 thing. I think it's like from 1 to like 9 or 9.5, and then I got 4.5. And the first one I got 4, which then you would not qualify for the program. And the second one I did 4.5, which was the minimum to qualify for the program. So I came with that, and then that was big part of I think the trauma, because really, if you don't speak a language and you are going to a university, like I went to Algoma University, it's a small university in Ontario, Northern Ontario. So it's not like they are small, but they do have a very strong English program. They do get a lot of international people. There is like a huge ESL, which is English for second language. There's like like a huge ESL program, and then they have like this wonderful ESL coordinator, this professor team. It's, you know, suburb as well. It's like very good. But the university was not prepared to receive us, like Brazilian people from Brazil, like Portuguese speaking people. I don't even know, like people who speak Portuguese. They were not prepared, because the thing about it, if you compare two immigrants, that was part of the other video, that you cannot put everybody in the same box, because if you compare an immigrant coming from China, they will have a lot of different issues learning English than a person who would come from Spain or any Spanish speaking country, or even Portuguese, because Portuguese, it's like a Latin language. So we do have a lot of things in the written part is not that difficult, but the spoken part is really difficult. So for us that knows the other languages, because we do have all the vowels, we do have all the consonants, it's just a different pronunciation, especially when you put them together. Like you can see I'm speaking with my own accent, because my A, my E, my E is different. And there is so much you can learn, but then the rest you just carry over. So they were not prepared to receive us. So what they did is they put a special class, which was not ESL, was EAP, which I don't even know, English for academic purpose. I think that was the acronym for that, EAP. So they did a you know, they had their ESL program with those awesome teachers, but they didn't give us the opportunity on that. They opened a new program only for us, because, you know, the Brazilian government was giving so much money, so they hired a new team of teachers, and I don't think they did good on that, because they put all of us together, so all the Brazilian people coming from that program with those specific teachers and those specific classes, which were designed to, you know, Asian immigrants, which with a different issue or a different learning curve, or you know, was different type of English learning thing. And that was big part of it. So we had the ESL coordinator that was also coordinating the EAP class, and she did everything she could. She fired some people, she hired new people. It was like a lot of transition between teachers, because she was trying to do the best she could. Excuse me. She was trying to do the best she could, and she did good, but at the same time she was not in charge of us. She was in charge of the English program. And then there was this stupid woman that was in charge of us, and she was just so bad. She like, we had our contract, but the contract was in Portuguese. They didn't send us an English translation for that document, and then when we would explain to her, well, this is part of the program, this is part of the document we sign, we want to have the internship, we want to do the academic courses and things like that, or like, I'm not learning anything in this English class, we needed to change, or like, you needed to, you know, like, help us. She would not help us. And I'm sure people who did the program with me might not have the same feeling, might not have the same experience. A lot of people as well are not very science related as I am, or I don't even know, like, I would say career related, like type of pushy person. I don't even know how to say that, but I'm a very career oriented. So for me, since the beginning of my university years, I'm very like, okay, this is what I should do, this is the experience I want, this is where I want to go, and that's what I want to achieve. So I have always been, the beginning of my university, be very oriented of what I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, what should I do to get there. And then a lot of people that came with that program, they were not really that strong. They were more like, oh, it's a nice opportunity, let's just enjoy. So I do believe a lot of people don't have the same point of view that I had, or that I have, or even that I experienced. So I am a strong fighter of things I believe. So I was very disappointed about that international coordinator. I went to different resources to get, I went to the ESL coordinator to get help, and she was wonderful. And all the team that worked with us was very nice. And she actually took over a lot of the issues that she was not even responsible for, which is unbelievable nice of her. Has always been very nice. And that's what makes me cry a lot sometimes, because I feel the experience would not be so bad if we had a nice person, a person who was open to listen. That's why I always say in these videos, if you are a Canadian and you are experienced, or is your job, or is part of your job, or you are seeing any person being mean to international, you need to step up, you need to listen. Because it's not about only the culture, it's about as well what is your expectations, and then you need to make sure if there is no meeting of those expectations, no way of meeting those expectations, you need to try to explain that. So for example, the city I live in was Sault Ste. Marie, as I said, I think was very small. So like the government said, you will have a copy in a company, an internship in a company, but that was not applicable, right? But we didn't know before getting there. And then even when we were there, we didn't, at least myself, I didn't have that idea of, oh yeah, it's impossible. Because the government also said, if you can't find anything in the city you are living, you can be reallocated to another city where you have those opportunities, or those companies, or things that will fit in your curriculum, will fit in your experience. So we got this idea that we could move for the amount of time that we would be in the COP, right? But then the other side, the university didn't want us to move to any other place, because they were receiving so much money to have us there. So then this international coordinator, she was not really clear about that. She was not very honest up front. She did everything she could for the companies, basically, like I applied for some companies. So she, for example, if they would ask her for a referral, because we do have a lot of those references that you need to give, she would give a bad one, so we couldn't get it. And then I don't know if people who did the exchange program with me knew that, but I knew, because I met other professionals around the area, and I spoke with people who work in the company, and then they told me, she was sabotaging us because she didn't want us to leave. So and like things like that, like it was just a stupid person. And it was very hard, extremely hard. And then that caused me a big trauma there. I can't handle any racism. I can't handle any harassment that happens on a daily basis. And then it's not intentional that I get angry, or I get upset, or I cry, or I leave the situation and I go away. Like I said in the other video, sometimes I just give up and then I leave. It's not intentionally. It's just trauma. For me, it's easy to shut off and then just, leave the situation, because it's too painful to go through that. So I went yesterday or the day before yesterday, I went to Canadian Tire here in Corner Brook, and then there was this cashier. She was having a bad day, and she was very rude with me. But you know, that's not because I'm international. Of course, she was just having a bad day, and then she had like a little bit of trouble understanding me. And I don't think, might be because of the accent, but you know, big part is because I also use the mask, and then she was using the mask, so like make harder for sure using the mask. So and then I got really frustrated. I was like, no, I don't want anything from you anymore. Like, let's just, you know, I was trying to ask for some help to find some items, and she was just being rude. And I had been in that store several times, you know, at least 10 times. And that was the first time, the first time I got a person who was rude to me. The other people always very friendly, asking where I'm from, and asking where this accent is coming from. And you know, I never had a bad experience until that person on Friday. And then that threw me off, you know. And then I didn't, you know, if I look back, I didn't realize that. Of course, when you get mad or angry or sad or frustrated, you don't, it's not instantaneous. This realization will come and say, oh yeah, that's because of my trauma. No, it's hard. It's something you need to work on very hard to be able to understand, accept, and then acknowledge that, and then go on. You know, it's not something I want to forget. It's my experience, it's part of my life. Was a horrible year, that exchange program. I was not able to leave, even if I wanted. I sent a withdraw letter to the government asking, please, you know, I want to go home. I don't want to stay here anymore. The program is not what I signed for. This woman is just being mean and unhelpful. And they didn't even reply. So it was horrible. Like the ability, like they took our freedom. That's the main point. And then that's a big deal for me. Like, and I don't know why yet. Like I didn't get deep inside to be able to realize why it's so triggering about, you know, this freedom. Like, you can't control me. If you try to control me, I will fight back. I will withdraw my emotions about you. I will just hate you for some time until I can calm down. And then that happens with my mother-in-law, for example. When we did our wedding back in Brazil in 2018, I did withdraw emotions from her for a good year, just because she tried to force something on me. And it's my issue, right? It's my trauma. I needed to change. I needed to work things on. I needed to calm down. It was not her fault. Might be her fault, but I can't put that on her. It's on me. And I'm working very hard, especially this year, that I have a lot of time for myself, that we have been in lockdown here in Canada, and everything has changed. I have dedicated 2020 to accept and understand myself, which is very important. Everybody should do that. So I'm trying to realize those moments where people with their actions triggered my trauma. That came, I don't know where or what happened yet, but I can pinpoint the times that became worse. So maybe it was not so bad before the 2012 when I came to Canada the first time and met that horrible woman that was responsible for us. Her name was Joanne. And because I think I should point that, even if it gets to her, I think she should be aware that she did wrong, everything she did wrong. And they can even talk more about it if she wants to contact me. You know, if you're watching this video, I'm not sure if you still works in this area. I hope not. I hope you don't work with this and don't traumatize anybody else. But if you do, you can find my LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook. And then you can contact me, and then I can explain to you everything you didn't do right, as being the international coordinator, so we can chit-chat about it. I am not as angry as I was before. So I don't hate you. I'm just want to, you don't, you know, make sure you don't get anybody else traumatized. But so yeah, that was her, you know. She was just so bad. I didn't even know what my thought was. But yeah, so was it's triggering for me if somebody tells me no, you know. She didn't even allow us to talk. So for example, now I understand people cannot say my name. My name is Natiele in Portuguese. And it took me several years. Even when I came back to Canada 2015, we came back, me and Marcel together, and it was a totally different experience, you know. We had this whole freedom. The money from the stipend from our graduate program was coming directly to us. We chose where we lived, we chose what we ate, you know. It was totally different experience. So that helped me a little bit to kind of overcome the Canada hating part. And then I just started hating Sault Ste. Marie. And then after that, I realized, no, you know what? People from there, I know so many nice people. I met so nice friends there. And then I still have friends from that time that are dearly my friends, from my heart. And then after that, I kind of send my hate to this woman, Joanne. And then after that, you know, like, it's a small work at the time. You need to give small steps, and you need to allow yourself. Don't judge it, you know. You cannot judge it. If it takes 1 foot by 1, you know, 1 foot by foot to get there, you go foot by foot. It's okay. Like, doesn't matter how long it takes. It matters that you are working on it. And then another day I posted something on my Facebook, and then a lot of people from that area, I actually explained was international, like the international coordinator that was responsible for the program. She was just a horrible person. But people didn't see the full thing, or didn't really understand what I tried to say. And they got very defensive or offended, and I don't want to offend anybody, because I really met wonderful people, really, really nice. Most of the people, like, I can say the bad experience I had was with Joanne, you know. And that was the generation of my trauma first, you know, like, or maybe second, I don't even know. Like, that was the biggest issue. So it was not everybody. And then, but it took me some time to don't hate the city or the region or the university, you know, or everybody involved in that year, because it takes time for you to understand your emotions, and, you know, and try to work things on. But I kind of wanted to record this video because it was so bad. And then has been like a week that I'm thinking about a recording, and I never actually did it. And then today I listened to that lesson from Artemis, and I was like, well, I think that's a call for me to actually go through the recording and make sure I have that put out there, because it's important, right? I feel at least it's important that we talk openly about the bad things that happen, the good things that happen, you know, like life type of things, because life is like that. I don't know. It was I didn't really cry. I almost cried several times, but I didn't cry, which is good. I don't want to, you know, sensibilize anybody, because it was my experience. It's a program that doesn't exist anymore. The things I do and talk about it in my Portuguese channel are things like, when you come with a scholarship, that it's a different one, like a Canadian scholarship, you are going to have your freedom. The people are not taking your freedom away from you. You choose everything by yourself, which makes the whole difference. In this case, that's the really main point of me talking about it. It was an experience. I was very young, and was a bad one. Was not a very elaborated program. Was not very centering things that might happen wrong. And I also met a bad person, and it's not always like that. And then the same experience. Marcel lived in a very close city and he had the same issues and everything, but the international coordinator of Laurentian University, that was responsible for the Brazilian people, she was super nice, super nice. Like she was, I would come to her and explain, well, this woman is doing this. Do you think that's allowed in Canada? I would like come and even ask it her, and she was like, no, that's racism. She would, there was a guy that came with the exchange program. His name is Ricardo, and it's also very hard for, you know, an English speaker say that. And then he would say, okay, my name is Ricardo, and she would shout. She would not say gently, she would shout like, your name is not Ricardo, your name is Ricardo. And like that was like 12 people, we were 12 people in a room, and she was shouting on his face that his name was, you know, the pronunciation was not Ricardo. And I remember that so vividly. And then that actually brought me another blockage where I didn't allow people to call me anything except Nachieli. And then actually last year was when I started to kind of overcome that. And then today I have an English name, and my English name is Natalie. So it's way easier for people to understand. Even if they see my written name, it's easier for them to call me Natalie. And I accept that with my heart. Yes, that's my English name. It's a way for you to, you know, call me in the correct way. Because if you try to pronounce my name and you don't say Nachieli, you say something else that's not either Natalie or Nachieli, is actually not my name. I don't consider. So I rather you, in your own language, try to say one or the other. I always give both options, but I try to don't give like, you can call me whenever, because it's not whenever. I have a name, and then I give you two options, and you choose which one you can pronounce correctly. But that happened only last year. So since 2012, I had that blockage. I was like, no, that's not my name. That's not how you say my name, you know. And I just it's so silly because people can't say, you know. It's the same like in English names. Some English names I can't say correctly. There is Arthur, yeah, like I'm like forcing myself to say the kind of correct way. But if I just say my day today, I would say Arthur, which is not the English pronunciation of the name. And it's just because it's harder, you know. It's harder for me to actually think about the name, think about the way I should say, and then say the right way. And that's also something about the accent. It's I would be able to speak with less accent and then more in a correctly pronunciation if I want, but that would require me to keep going studying and keep thinking about it, and then I would not be able to express myself as I really am, because I'm a very agitated person. So I speak very quick, and then I have very quick thoughts, and then I try to put everything together, and that's who I am. That's part of who I am. So if I try to modify the way I speak to fit better in the culture, for the other people comfort, that would kind of kill a little bit of who I am. So I decided in that like that's not a decision I made, like sit here and then decide. That was like a decision I made through my immigration life. It's something you need to make choices, and then who I am is more important of all 100% more important of how I speak. And then we talk about that a little bit in the previous video too, about how I speak and things like you don't correct me. You kind of need to get used to it, and then once you get used to how I speak, then you understand what I speak or what I'm saying, or at least you get an idea of what I mean. So that's, you know, whenever you choose to be, it's fine with me. But yeah, so I think I will finalize this video for now. I speak don't even know how long, but it will be like more than 30 minutes for sure. But I think it's important for me to talk. I kind of consider you guys my therapist. I do have a therapist here. I'm working some issues with Penny and her death. She is much alive, but I'm like keeping thinking about if she would die. And you know, my parents are not here. Marcel is not here with me. I don't have any kids. I don't have any friends. I don't have any family around me. And then if she die, I'll just go through the same depression I had in 2016. So I'm kind of trying to work that with the therapist to understand I might have better tools today to don't feel in that I don't even know how to describe, but that like bad place I stayed in 2016. I almost committed suicide twice, so was I might even record a video about that, but it was a hard year. And my biggest fear is if Penny dies, you get to that place again, and then that place is not a place you want to be. I think I'm actually going to talk about that a lot, because I think we should talk about mental health, but that's a place as well I don't want to be. And then not having her in my life, I think will bring me down, and I don't know how down I will go if I go that place, and I don't want to be in that place. So I'm trying to do my therapy now that things, no, nothing happened. She's very healthy. She's with Marcel now. Marcel is taking good care of her with her diet, because that's something I sleep a little bit. I don't give her the right amount of food, and then all the nutritions and things like she can't have as well, like fat and things like that. And he is more aware and responsible in that sense. And then I also bring him to the vet yearly, do a yearly blood exam, and make sure she's fine. We did spay her so she would not have any more tumors or lumps or things like that, and also avoid an infection that might come. So she's really healthy, but anything could happen anytime, and it's really hard to talk about it. So I am not going to go there. But yeah, I have been working with the therapist and on that, and I think more things come up when you are in therapy, but big part of having a plan and having I call support. You need to have like a support system, and my support system is the YouTube channel. That's why I created in 2016 the first channel, doing like daily vlogs and things like that. So that was part of my recovery, like part of trying to be better was a thing that my therapist on that time gave to me as an assignment to record myself, and then have good days and bad days, but then after you could watch the good days and then remember yourself, you'll be fine. This is just a bad day, and then bad days will go, and then good days will come, and things like that. Yoga was a big part of my process as well to come out of that depression. And so things I actually carry over because I believe in the system. I think it worked, and I don't let it go. So I don't let it go, yoga go. I don't let YouTube go, because I do believe we should, you should keep what makes you on the right track. And then that is some part of my help. So I do believe you guys are kind of my therapist, but you don't talk back to me, you kind of just listen, which is even better. But I like to see your comments and things like that, so you can keep watching and commenting and liking and sharing if you want. So yeah, I think this video is extremely long, and I'm sorry for that. And I think we'll have more videos about that. When I heard something that I consider a call, I think I'll come back and record something like that. And yeah, that's it. So bye guys, hope you like it.